Okay, you're looking at a couple of apple trees that grew from seed. This is about their 6th year, and I'm going to show you the little apples. Okay, this is the first tree. You can see down here. There's 2 little trunks right down there. So this is the one that has tiny little apples on it. This year we got a freeze late, so there's not a lot of little apples on it, but you can see some of last year's little tiny pieces of apple. Sorry. So those were last year's. They dried up. They're tiny. And then, let's see. I don't see no little baby apples from this year because of the freeze. Let's go over here. Okay, which tree is these coming off? These are from the ones that get a little bigger. Do you see those little apples? These will get a little bigger, and they go all the way up to the top there, and you can see some of the little apples growing on the stem. Let's see if we can get closer. There. And these we dumped out apples, peelings, and apple cores. And this tree had a little more protection, I think, from the frost. Look at those little round ones. Those will get bigger. They ain't done growing yet. And then we can turn this way here. That's the roof. And here is mulberry trees the birds brought a few years back. You can see we have a tiny few raspberries left. Not many raspberries. We picked most of them, and the birds helped eat many of the, yeah, there's some. Okay. And this tree gives little tiny ones. Look at the ground. We couldn't even pick them all. The wind blew a bunch down, but there's tons. We come out here and ate handfuls. Oops, that's too much shine. But anyways, these are mostly on my neighbor's side of the fence, but they're right on the fence line. So I eat my ones growing over my side of the fence. They are very tasty. Oh, that one's a little dry. But yeah, so we have 2. So one's a smaller berry and the other one is bigger. Both are very delicious and juicy. So this is my little chicken's pen. Yeah. I don't have chickens right now. I have a rude neighbor. So we found them a good home. And here's where some bird seed and chicken food grew up. I have some oats and grass and whatnot. I'll show you this cute little chicken house. I'll step back. It's up off the ground. It's covered in mesh around the bottom. But inside we have Ooh, there's spider web in there. That's the inside, and down the very back is how there's a spot the chickens can get out. There's their little egg laying box. And over here, see that little ring and string? That's how the door goes up and down and closes in the back. Now we have to close this. My yard is small, but this whole area is for the chickens when I have them. See, that's their egg laying box. Just close it up. We built this. This was my plans for a little chicken house. And they can hang out down there at the bottom. And, oh, over here, over the fence, the bigger leaves here are the horseradish plants. There is my little chihuahua and some flowers. This year I didn't do a whole lot of planting. I was planning moving, and things just didn't work out. We had a lot of changes happen. Oh, here's my sage. I've been growing there from a little tiny orange pot, and it gets huge. I have to cut it down. I've been growing there probably about 6 or 7 years, probably 7. I've run out of time remembering. Hello, little Dixie. Hello, little Dixie. Yeah, her tongue hangs out because she's missing teeth. These are these are plum trees that just grew from seed. And over here, the squirrels planted these. You see the thick, kind of weird looking trunk. And then there's another little skinnier trunk. And these are English walnut trees, planted by the squirrels. The squirrels planted those. And these are like 4 years old, I think. I was shocked that we were getting walnuts in such a short time. I know other people that have bought them in pots and whatnot, and really took about 5 or 6 years to get walnuts. And the squirrels planted these, and we've got walnuts. And let's see. Oh, there's my small little raspberry patch, and you can see the little raspberries. We come out here and we nibble raspberries. They're getting almost completely spent, but they are so delicious. That one had a bug. Maybe this one's ready. Oh yeah, still tasty. Oh, and over here hiding is a Oregon grape. It still has a few clusters on it. But yeah, those are my raspberries. They were against the fence, but the neighbor sprayed, they died, and the second row decided to scoot over here and grow. But look, here's another walnut. There's another one. You can lift this up and keep going, and you'll see more. I'm walking through this thing because it's kind of short. this tree. But here is, see, there's another walnut. No, there's more in there. But those are the ones I see. Oh, look at here. There's some, there's some. Yeah. Now these are the leaves right in front of my face. I'm stuck in the tree. But yep. Planted by the squirrels. So, my suggestion is if you want to plant some English walnut trees, get some fresh walnuts from a neighbor, Christmas time, whatever, and bury them about an inch under the soil, because that's about what the squirrels do, and let them sprout on their own in the ground. You won't have walnuts immediately. Oh, looky there. Let's see. Get under there. Yeah. There's a couple. I ain't apologizing for the leaves getting in the way, so don't expect me to. It's a video. Enjoy it as it is. But yeah. And then this is the second little tiny tree right here that the squirrels planted. That one's younger. But I just let these things grow. They weren't in anybody's way. But here's my hand, and it can almost go around the tree. Not quite. Can't quite touch my fingers. But yeah. If you don't want to plant them, just dump out a big bag of walnuts and let the squirrels plant them. They're really good helpers. I love them. But yep. So I find that when plants come up by themselves, those are just some flowers I planted in there that were given to me in a big pot. I said, oh well, since I wasn't putting anything in there, could just plant itself. Hello, little Dixie. Hello. And then that's the kids' play pond, table pond, and doves and other birds come along. Those are a huge group of white irises, along with those by the fence. And then these over here are double purple, a dark purple lower petal and a lighter purple yellow top petals. And then I bought these. You see that little plant there in that pot? Well, that's a currant. And I bought them last year. Didn't get around to planting them. Left them in the pot. Figured, oh damn, they'll probably be dead by spring. Oh, and these are last year's kale. I cut the seed tops off and they're still growing. They decided to sprout again. And there's them ugly, and I mean ugly, marigolds. I'm told they keep the bugs away. But if you look at the leaves, let's do it from this side of the fence. Look at those. They're just sticks. The bugs have eaten them. Somebody just gave me those. They were dying in a pot. Those are pink little geraniums. That's a volunteer tomato decided to pop up. So is that one. And these two little ones over here. I didn't plant them. I transplanted them from this pot. And you see, they didn't grow. But these ones that I left in the pot, look at that. Huge, nice thick stems. And these are more my other little currant bush. They're red currants. They're kind of sour. They're kind of little sour berries. But oh my goodness, are they good. They're just growing. Oh, we've got some wild edibles in this place too. Let's see. We'll show you. I'll get rid of that. Okay, here's some parsley. That's edible. This is what lamb's quarters looks like, or wild spinach, whatever you want to call it. You can eat these leaves. And this is a buttonweed. It's also a mallow. Whoops, a buttonweed. It's a mallow. It gets those little tiny pumpkin-looking buttons on. You can eat those. You can also make marshmallows out of them because it's a mallow plant. And oh my gosh, you see all this stuff. I'm not a fan of it. It's lemon mint or something like that. Lemon verbena, hip blooms. Bees like it, so I'll let some of it grow. Not a fan of it. And then here's the oregano. It's got little teeny tiny blooms. You see those blooms? Bees love it. Saw it both bloom. Should have put some up this year. Over here is, these are garlic chives. That's thyme in that pot. Planted some parsley. And parsley is growing. See, nice and green, pretty little curlies. Plus it's gone to seed. Blooming out. There's the pretty little raspberry patch. Oh, and here's my two little, those are two baby little seedlings. This is their second year. They are the Oregon grapes. The trick to growing Oregon grapes is late in the fall, after you get the first frost, early winter. Pop a couple of the berries or however many in your mouth. The flesh is kind of tart sweet, like a sweet tart. And then you can take and spit those seeds in the top of the dirt, kind of in a pot outside. Don't do it in the house. Let them sit there all winter long. I need to weed whack my yard. Grass is getting a little tall there. But yeah. Oh, and if we go over here to the back side, you can see these blackberries here. These are blackberries. There, I haven't been watering, but you can see the berries there, little clusters. See, I need to get back here and do some watering, but I just haven't. I've been a little sick, so I haven't been doing as much in my garden as I need to keep everything growing. But yeah, so we have wild food growing. We have food planted by the birds growing. Oh yeah, let's look at my green onions. These were just some store-bought onions I bought like probably 4 or 5 years ago. I popped them in this pot. And matter of fact, we just used some today. Cut them off. The bigger ones that are super big, bigger than my finger, you can chop those up and toss them in a pot for making bone broth, beef broth, vegetable broth. Or you can take the more slender ones, like down here, and chop them up and use them fresh because they're still nice and tender. I kept that geranium in for the winter. Popped it out here. This piece was just an extremely long piece out the top. So I took this piece, just shoved it in the dirt, and we got flowers. I didn't root it in a pot of water or nothing. Just stuck it down in the dirt. So, I wished I had been feeling better and things had gone a little more as planned, but that's life. And here's my mint. I love my mint. I put it in pots this year. That's mojito mint. That is rhubarb. That is common mint. Common mint. This is I think a grapefruit mint or a chocolate mint. And this is the beautiful, you see that? That is a Rose of Sharon. And that bush there has beautiful kind of pinkish flowers with a red throat. And those are edible. You can eat them right off the bush, or you can deep fry them like a squash flower. You want to pick them early in the morning to do that. And my little rose is about done blooming for this part of the season. I don't see any more blossom or buds. But anyways, just showing you what I got. Oh, and this little tiny bush here is a white Rose of Sharon. It has little white flowers, but nothing blooming at this moment. But yeah, that one's blooming. Look at that. The hummingbirds and bees, especially the bumblebees, really like it. But anyways, this is 4/4 of 2026. You know what day that is? I claim we have 250 years we've been here putting up with all this crazy slavery, and yeah, never mind. Anyways, that's my little space in my backyard. So you don't need a lot of space. You can grow foods that come back year after year after year. So when you do get sick, such in my case, you can still have food growing. But some of these things in pots I'm taking with me when I move. They're going to Arizona with me, if I get that far, hopefully next spring. Play it by ear. Anyways, have a wonderful day, everybody. Catch you later.